Juvenile crime on the minds of city leaders, putting curfew enforcement on the shoulders of city businesses. Why business owners say it shouldn't be their job. A controversial contract as city leaders split over the future of the conduit system. Why some are accusing Mayor Scott of a power grab. The gun bill backed by City State's Attorney Ivan Bates could be in jeopardy. The hurdles it now faces before longer sentences can be imposed.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. Tonight, we have team coverage on Baltimore's crime crisis as a push to increase gun penalties is now in jeopardy. We begin with lawmakers asking businesses to take a more active role in curbing teen violence. Fox 45's Vincent Hill joins us live with details on why business owners are not liking this. Vincent?
Yeah, Mary, it means holding business owners accountable literally to the tune of thousands of dollars.
It's a law that's been on Baltimore City books since 2014, fining businesses up to $500 for allowing teens to patronize during school hours. But after the mass shooting at the Edmonton Shopping Center and this heated exchange,
I don't be in my community. I don't be in my community. I don't.
Councilman Christopher Burnett is looking to increase that fine up to $1,000, and it has business owners fuming.
I think it doesn't make sense.
Phyllis Camden owns a beauty supply store at Pennsylvania Avenue and North Avenue.
I would just tell them to find another way to get money, but not inside of our pocket. We are working too hard to just give money for them to do their jobs.
Camden says his job is retail, not patrolling the streets of Baltimore.
The city have to take care of it. The police have to take care of it.
He says he's concerned for his safety because of the large crowds that congregate in front of his store.
They are violent upside there. So if something happens in front of my door, if I go upside and try to tell them, guys, you have to calm down, no, they will attack me.
Fox 45 questioning Councilman Burnett about Camden's concerns.
I would push back with the notion that businesses bear no responsibility. I mean, we have businesses are responsible. If a student comes in and someone under the age of 21 wants to buy alcohol, it's the business's job to say, hey, I can't serve you.
We asked Councilman Burnett about data showing a reduction in crime since the law went into effect almost 10 years ago.
Is there any data to suggest that, yes, these citations have led to a reduction in crime in certain areas?
So the original bill did require reports to be submitted to the city council. What we learned today and what I already knew was that the reports weren't happening.
Despite that, Burnett's still saying business owners should be held responsible for something there is no data to show is effective.
We don't ask the police to do that. We ask businesses to comply with the law.
Something Camden says is unacceptable.
So I won't put my life in danger just because I have to play the role of the police or of the city.
Yeah, meanwhile, that amendment was not voted on today. There are still several questions as to when that $1,000 fine should take effect. Should it be in a school zone, a non-school zone? We also reached out to Baltimore police to get the number of citations issued to businesses. We have yet to get that number. For now, we're live in Baltimore. Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Well, new tonight, we're learning the 3 people arrested in a chase yesterday from Baltimore County into Pennsylvania were all juveniles. That's according to police in York County, where the chase picked up along I-83. Baltimore County police tell us they identified a vehicle they believe was involved in an armed robbery and pursued it up I-83. Investigators in Pennsylvania say marijuana was found, but no mention of a weapon. And just in tonight, a shooting outside Whole Foods in Harbor East left 2 windows shattered at the entrance. Pictures shared with Fox 45 News shows shopping carts were ditched and overturned. There are no reports of injuries or who police may be looking for at this hour. When our crews went by, the store was back open. Early this morning, a man was shot in South Baltimore. Just after 1 o'clock, officers responded to South Gilmore Street, where a 25-year-old revealed he had been hit in the backside. The victim told police at 10 last night he was on West Baltimore Street near South Calhoun Street when he heard gunfire, but didn't realize he had been shot for 3 hours. Anybody with information on the shooting should contact Baltimore police. City State's Attorney Ivan Bates continues to push for legislation implementing tougher penalties for gun crimes. With this year's legislative session more than halfway through, Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost explains that bill still faces major hurdles.
The bill seeks to raise the maximum penalty for certain gun offenders who are 21 and older. Right now, anyone between 18 and 20 with the same charge already faces a max penalty of 5 years. The legislation had one bill hearing in a House committee, but really so far hasn't moved forward. Now we're seeing Senate President Bill Ferguson say he does support the legislation, but is raising some concerns about the plan moving forward. The support for Baltimore's town prosecutor Ivan Bates' push to crack down on sentences for gun offenders includes elected leaders at several levels. Current and former Democratic leaders in Annapolis.
We have some congressional support. It looks pretty positive.
This legislation to me speaks volumes. It just shows that we in Baltimore City are trying to move in the right direction.
Republicans in the State House.
Mr. Bates has decided, the state's attorney in Baltimore City, to do something, and I want him to know that I am on his side. I'm willing to do anything I can to help his efforts. As a legislator, I feel like this problem is out of control.
And even Congressman Kwesi Mfume sending this letter to the chair of the House Judiciary Committee in support of the bill. Despite the list of sponsors on both sides of the aisle in both chambers, the future of the legislation is not clear.
I support it. Let me be clear. I also know that even in supporting it, I don't think that the passage of that one piece of legislation has a demonstrable impact on whether or not we see more or less crime.
Senate President Bill Ferguson, a Baltimore City Democrat, on WBAL's C4 and Brian Neiman show Wednesday morning, offering cautious optimism.
I support the initiative. I think that there are going to be some important conversations in the Judicial Proceedings Committee. I know that Legislative Black Caucus has expressed some concerns.
It's unclear what those concerns are. The Legislative Black Caucus not responding to Fox 45's email asking for clarity. The Senate President says Bates' bill won't be the fix to the city's crime crisis.
I just don't see a lot of the causation there.
In a statement to Fox 45 News, Bates agrees his proposal is not a cure-all for the deep issues surrounding violent crime. But Bates says it's common sense legislation that should be supported by the people who want to prioritize public safety in Baltimore. Bates has long said this plan is a piece of the puzzle.
Do I think that this will have an effect? It is one of the tools in the toolbox that will have some sort of an effect.
The state's attorney in Baltimore says he's already seen the impacts of the legislation.
It's that new state's attorney, man. Yeah, that's all they keep talking about down there.
Inmates in Baltimore City talking about Bates' plan to crack down on illegal guns, despite the bill not voted on yet by lawmakers in Annapolis. And now it's unclear when or if a vote will even happen. This charge is a misdemeanor, so anyone sentenced would only have to serve 25% of whatever the judge decides. And it's important to remember that the judge still has discretion when it comes to handing down the sentence. As for what's next, it's unclear when or if this bill will have another hearing. In the newsroom, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Baltimore not alone in its crime crisis. Chicago also seeing a rise in violence, which was a main factor in Tuesday's mayoral vote. Mayor Lori Lightfoot lost her bid for another term, the first time in 40 years an incumbent in Chicago's mayoral re-election bid had failed. Now some political experts argue a similar outcome could be coming to Baltimore.
Voters want to see that you're resolving and solving some of these problems. It is a wake-up call for a lot of people, and it should be a wake-up call to Mayor Scott because she lost for many of the reasons people are frustrated in Baltimore.
Mayor Brandon Scott has made it clear he will seek re-election in 2024, but local political observers say the unseating of Chicago's mayor could be an early indicator that big city voters are fed up with crime and seeking change.
Former Laurel police officer David Crawford is in court today facing attempted murder and first-degree arson charges in Howard County. Crawford has been linked to at least a dozen fires throughout Maryland in a 13-year period. In each case, Prince George's County Police say they found Crawford had some sort of disagreement with the victim in the past. His alleged victims include 2 relatives, 2 former doctors, and a former Laurel police chief. Crawford faces up to 30 years in prison. Mary.
Hi, thank you. A 115-year-old storm drain collapsed last July, causing a sinkhole to form and ultimately forcing the destruction of several homes along North Ave. The city claimed the drain collapse was not their fault, in part because they had completed an internal review earlier last year and found no items of concern. However, our investigation revealed the last inspection done on the outdated drain actually occurred in the year 2000, more than 2 decades ago, not last year. And now that revelation is renewing homeowners' calls for reimbursement.
They're not asking at this stage above and beyond their costs. They're asking for just compensation for the homes that they have lost because of the city's failure.
In response to the controversy, the city has now kickstarted a new push to inspect the storm drain system. These residents calling that inspection a day late and $1 short. Well, the tug of war over the fate of the city's conduit system grew tighter today as the city council president called the mayor's actions nothing more than a power grab. At the Board of Estimates meeting 2 weeks ago, the mayor and his 2 appointees on the board approved an agreement giving BGE broad control over the conduit system. The comptroller, the city council president, boycotted that meeting in protest, but at today's meeting, both of them took aim at the mayor.
Never, and I repeat, never have I done anything or made any decision that was not in the best interest of those who call this great city home. If there was a better deal to be done, that deal would have been done.
What we're missing here is a judge. I think we've reached the point where it's clear that we just have to agree to disagree.
There's still debate whether the mayor's vote was a legal vote 2 weeks ago. The comptroller says a vote on the agreement with all 5 board members present will take place next month. Governor Wes Moore announcing millions in funding to support affordable housing. $13 million in state funds are going to housing projects in Dundalk, Hanover, and Edgewood. The 3 projects will all have between 68 and 84 units rented out to people earning less than 60% of the local median income. Well, coming up, major relief for Americans with diabetes. One of the nation's leading insulin makers slashing prices, and if other drug makers could follow suit.
And if you'll be enjoying an evening walk, it looks like temperatures going to be settling from the 50s back into the 40s, so you'll probably need a jacket there. I'm going to let you know when you'll need an umbrella, too. That's coming up in my Weather Authority forecast.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Well, new at 6, Maryland-based Novavax is warning investors it may not make it through the year. The first vaccine it brought to market was for COVID-19, but it's warning cash flow will slow down, in part because federal spending with the COVID emergency ending in May will shut down. Novavax also can't forecast a demand for COVID shots. Back in 2020, then President Trump's Project Warp Speed committed more than $1.5 billion to ramp up production and purchase 100 million doses from Novavax.
Drug maker Eli Lilly is capping the out-of-pocket cost of its insulin to $35 per month, effective immediately. Now, that change aligns with the Inflation Reduction Act, which only imposed a cap on insulin for seniors in Medicare. The company's self-imposed cap automatically applies to people with private insurance. People without insurance can become eligible if they sign up for Lilly's copay assistance program. Experts say this could lead other insulin makers in the United States to follow in Eli Lilly's footsteps.
We're doing that for our products. That's what we can affect. But we call on everyone to meet us at this point and take this issue away from, a disease that's stressful and difficult to manage already. Take away the affordability challenges.
More than 8 million Americans with diabetes rely on insulin, and manufacturers have faced pressure to lower the cost that's much higher than other countries. Mary?
Kai, thank you. Rare developments today in the murder trial of Alex Murdaugh, the prominent South Carolina lawyer charged with murdering his wife and son. Jurors traveled to the crime scene today, spent about an hour on the Murdaugh estate. It was one of the last stages of the trial before they began trying to reach a verdict. Prosecutors say Mr. Murdaugh carried out the crime in a failed effort to conceal his long-time embezzlement of millions of dollars.
And after an exhaustive investigation, there is only one person who had the motive, who had the means, who had the opportunity to commit these crimes, and also whose guilty conduct after these crimes betrays him.
More than 75 witnesses took the stand over about 5 weeks in a case experts say has heavily relied on circumstantial evidence. Murdaugh has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder. And you can listen to daily episodes of our sister station's award-winning podcast, The Murdaugh Murders, Money and Mystery, highlighting the important points from each day in court. Scan that QR code right there on your screen or search Murdaugh anywhere you get your podcasts. Yes, it is March 1st, and it is almost that time. Spring is in the air in Washington as the cherry blossoms are about to bloom. We have now predicted dates. Peak bloom is expected between March 22nd and the 25th at the beginning of the annual festival. It's a little early this year due to the unusually warm winter. And this is what the blossoms look like right now. Florets are visible, which is the second stage of 6 stages tracked by the National Park Service. Beautiful no matter what stage they're in, Jonathan. That can't be said about most of us, right?
Yeah, we try, but lipstick on a pig for me. But in any case, let's take a look at what's going on outside right now. Some great weather to get those cherry blossoms going. And again, I wouldn't run down to D.C. yet. You're really just seeing kind of those green buds, maybe a little highlight of pink on them, but they're not really blossoming and blooming yet. Still got a few weeks to get ready. We got 50 degrees right now, though. These temperatures that are mild, 10, 15, 20 degrees above average, certainly helps out. Winds out of the southeast at about 8 miles an hour and humidity at 68%. Toyota East Shore Harbor Skycam looking good. Got some mainly clear skies for now, but that will change later on tonight. There's one batch of rain and snow that's off to our north and east. It's actually part and parcel of this that's down to our south and west. This is a warmer side of our what we call a warm front. It's warmer air that's going to be moving toward us. But notice the yellow, that's a tornado watch, and we've also got a flood watch in the green. And all of this is going to be moving north and east. It won't be nearly as severe by the time it gets here, but there could be a round of rain late tonight into early tomorrow morning. For now, just some extra clouds, and those clouds will increase as that rain approaches, and that rain comes through in a maybe 2-3 hour time frame. And after that, it's going to turn warmer, a lot warmer for tomorrow. Take a look at the temperatures right now in the 40s to right around 50, but there, that sticks out a little bit. Near 60 at Frederick, and sticking out even more. We had highs at 56 in Baltimore today. Look at that, 70 at Cumberland, 66 the high at Oakland. on the slopes of Wisp Ski Resort on Deep Creek Lake. That's usually the coldest area by far of the state. Not the case today because of that warm front moving in, and we're going to get the warmer air tomorrow. Now, the clouds will increase overnight tonight. Notice this batch of rain sifting on through after about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. By about 8, it's already moving south and east, so that's some good news there for the morning commute. And then notice the clouds increase once again as we head into tomorrow night and early Friday. And I think we're going to get some rain in here, probably heading into the day on Friday, and that's going to be a cold rain too, with highs only in the 40s by then. 45 tonight, spot showers after midnight, move in up near 70 tomorrow. I'm going to break down the exclusive 10-day forecast, let you know if it's going to cool down any, coming up in a couple of minutes.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Do you hate driving in the snow? Imagine being behind the wheel of this Idaho snowplow. Visibility may have only been a few feet at times. Lots of photos of sundogs and halos in Maine today. They appear when the sun shines through cirrus clouds filled with ice crystals. And this spooky scene comes from Seattle, where freezing fog this morning later gave way to sunshine on this first day of meteorological spring.
For more content like this, like the National Weather Desk on Facebook.
Families believe loved ones are not dying accidentally along a trail in Austin, Texas. Melanie Torrey from our Sinclair sister station there has more on the families who are demanding change.
Earlier this month, 30-year-old Jason John's body was found 8 days after he went missing. On February 5th, John was last seen leaving Rainey Street, walking toward the Lady Bird Lake Trail. Today, his partner, Tara, addressed the city's Public Safety Committee.
Unfortunately, I will have to live with the mystery for the rest of my life, not knowing how or why my partner fell into the water and drowned to his death.
John's friends and family begged city leaders to make changes instead of letting him become just another number. though the numbers can't be ignored.
One death is one death too many. What is the cost of a human life? When, at least in my own digging and going down the rabbit hole on the internet, it's been over 10 folks who have died, and found in Lady Bird Lake at the very least. We need to do something about it.
In 2018, 25-year-old Martin Gutierrez went missing after a night out on Rainey Street.
Every interview you find online, you're going to find me begging and begging for surveillance and lighting. That was never done.
His older brother haunted by the tragedy.
Multiple people have gone missing with no change, no progression into the cases, ruling everything is accidental. And it's not. Something's going on. Something is.
In 2019, 21-year-old Christian Pugh went missing. His family believes he was thrown into the lake from a nearby bridge.
What is going on, and why can we not find any answers about what happened to our children?
Pugh was found alive but suffers from incapacitating, life-altering injuries.
Believe me, it's going to happen again. It will happen again. And it's up to you whether you want to have an answer for that next family or not. So please, try to have an answer for them, because this totally sucks. And every time it happens, we get to relive it.
All right, taking a look at our exclusive 10-day forecast. Temperatures for tomorrow up to about 65 to 70. We're back down to 44 with occasional rain. It's cold rain on Friday. And then on Saturday, early shower, 51, 52, and breezy on Sunday. Mid to upper 50s for Monday. Could see some more showers roll in for Tuesday with 54. The temperature is actually pretty close to average, which isn't something we've been able to say very often. And you see those 40s are back Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week.
Well, finally tonight, Black History Month may be over, but students at Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School in Baltimore are learning to celebrate Black culture every day.
Sing a song full of the faith and the nothing that's taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the message has taught us.
Pre-K students hosted a Living Black History Month museum featuring arts and crafts and profiles of famous Black Marylanders like Governor Wes Moore. Well, that's all for Fox 45 News. Family Feud's next. We'll see you back here for the news at 10 tonight. Good night.